sports fans, I just want to take a moment to give a big shout out to Thompson Performance. If you're looking to take your game to the next level and prepare for the demands of college athletics, Thompson Performance is the place to be. Their tailored training programs are designed to help athletes like you push past limits and unlock your full potential. You can reach Thompson Performance at their Instagram on screen or click the link down below. This is the Fourth Quarter Finish podcast, and today I am happy to be here with Kyle Ratliff, a senior out of Southern Illinois University of Edwardsville. He's a 6'3", 205-pound outfielder. And man, I'll tell you what, this guy knows how to make contact and he knows how to drive him far because, even a couple of years ago in 2023, he hit 274 with 11 homers. That's not something easy to do, obviously. And shortly after we're recording this right now, he actually hit a home run the other day. So, you can say he's got that juice to him. So, obviously, Kyle, so happy to have you on here. I'd just like to give a little introduction. So, obviously, I want to get right into it. I mean, you've got a remarkable story. I think everybody's just super excited to hear about your journey to getting here and obviously some fun stuff, which that's going to lead us right into the icebreaker.
Sweet.
So I hear you've got a pretty unique sports team that isn't everybody's favorite right now, but tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, man. I'm a born and raised Kansas City Chiefs fan. With receipts, I had a 6 foot fat head poster of Dwayne Bowe in my room as a kid. Back to the Matt Castle, Jamal Charles, Dexter McCluster days. Like born and raised Kansas City Chiefs fan. My dad's from Kansas City. So the Royals go into that too. I'm not just a Chiefs fan. Grew up on Kansas Jayhawk basketball. So all the Kansas City sports I'm a big fan of for sure.
Man, so going into the Royals, right? Obviously, because
Yeah.
I'm a Tigers fan. I love the Tigers. So we've got some rivalries there. Obviously, royal
Yeah.
rivalries, I guess. But who's your most influential Royals baseball player that you can think of?
Not of my generation, but of all time, like I'm a big Bo Jackson guy. Like Bo Jackson's my favorite athlete of all time. Like I try to model like my game after him. I played baseball and football, and so like Bo Jackson was like a big person for me, like growing up for sure.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Bo. I mean,
Yeah,
the clip that sticks out in my head to this day is that one where he climbed the wall. I mean, literally just climbed it.
yeah,
And that was just Bo being Bo. That's
yeah,
what they
yeah,
always say. So, obviously it's awesome that you've got the Kansas City, background. It's unique for sure. I don't know a lot of Chiefs fans, so I wanted to ask you, so back in the day,
yeah.
Chiefs wise, what was it like growing up watching the Chiefs before they were Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, it was tough, man, because Matt Castle, like, he just didn't get the job done, and Jamal Charles was all we had hanging on to, and Eric Berry on defense. But once they got out there and Alex Smith got in there, and we started to make the playoffs, but we're first round exits, and so you get your hopes up, and then we lose. But then Mahomes came in there, and now we just like, I'm gonna ride it out for a little bit,
Right, right.
success.
Right,
So
you got to take these wins while you get them. I mean,
yeah, for
you never
sure, for
know.
sure.
You
Yeah,
you could, he's having a Brady like career. Obviously, I,
yeah.
I think everybody can pretty much say that at this point. That I mean, he's up there in the echelons of the Manning, Brady. Yeah, he's up there for sure. So
Yeah.
it's crazy to see the success that they have, and I'm really curious to see what goes on in the next few weeks with
Yeah.
NFL free agency and draft and all that good stuff. But enough about football because that's not why we're here right now. We're
Yeah.
here to talk about ball, man, baseball. Okay, that's the sport of everybody's dreams, including mine.
Mm,
So I want to get right into it, which is SIUE, right?
mm.
So what makes it special for you? What was the draw when you really felt like home and comfort wise, what is it like for you?
Yeah, I was just out of Lake Michigan. I was looking for a place that would give me an opportunity. Like Division I baseball is everybody's dream, and it was definitely my dream. And so um, they were a school that gave me an opportunity. They trusted me, I trusted them, and I was just bought in from the start. I love Coach Lyons here and Coach Paulson here as well. They have big impacts on my game and my career, and so like I'm very thankful for them. And so I just, I love it here. It was home when I got here, St. Louis area. My brother, he ran track at Illinois State University, which is 2 hours up the road. And so, yeah, I got here and just hit the ground running and just like made a bunch of great friends, teammates, and felt like family. And so, like, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
So, going into that, right? Obviously, you've been there for a little while now. What would you say your favorite baseball memory of SIUE is?
Yeah. I would probably say like last year. I didn't play last year because I tore my ACL, and so there was two instances last year. I would say either like the first game when I tore it was a big moment for me. Just it was a great game and just remembering that day hitting two home runs in one game. But I would also say a game that I didn't play in was a conference tournament. Um, First game of the conference tournament, like just sitting there being able to support my teammates and just seeing how fired up they were to play in a big game like that. And we had a great performance all around, and just being able to sit there and witness a conference win was really big.
That's gotta be, just a jolt of energy into the room, whether you're playing or not. I mean, it's gotta just feel incredible to be a
Yeah,
part of something special like that. So, obviously, there's probably a million other stories of SIUE, that you could tell us, other than baseball wise.
yeah,
But what is the atmosphere like roughly around there? Like, what's
yeah,
the geography, I guess even.
yeah. It's real close to downtown St. Louis, and so you can just get that vibe. Like you can kind of get both like that big city or that just like hometown feel in a way. Edwardsville's a really homey environment. Um, and yeah, like St. Louis is 20 minutes away, and so we got a bunch of guys who will go down there and go to Cardinals games or Blues games and stuff like that. And so you kind of just get a little bit of everything here in Edwardsville, and so I feel like it's a perfect environment to where like it's not too big, but it ain't too small either. And
Right,
so
right.
yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like you get a nice mix
yeah,
of like
absolutely,
that small town feel that everybody knows everybody, but also you have all of the, the attractions of a
yeah,
major sports city type thing. So that
yeah,
that's obviously awesome, and it sounds a little bit kind of like Grand Rapids in some ways.
yeah. It is.
Obviously, it's and we'll get into that later about your youth and growing up and kind of that, but obviously that's awesome, to have that small town feel and also have everything that you get with a big city. So
Yeah,
obviously, your baseball career at SIUE so far has been just awesome. I mean, truthfully, other than obviously that injury that you occurred, which obviously sucks. You know sorry that it happened to you. It's part of the game, unfortunately in a lot of instances. But take us through your baseball career so far at
yeah,
SIU and even leading up to this recent success, as we just found out.
yeah, yeah. So my first year here at SIUE was there's a lot of ups and downs. Not necessarily from a baseball perspective. Um, I guess a little bit of baseball, but like I had some success, hit 274 with 11 home runs like you mentioned, but like too many strikeouts for my liking in a way. Like I feel like a lot of it was just from the neck up, just being able to handle a new atmosphere, being far away from home, uh, playing at the Division I level. It was a lot mentally to gather, I guess. And so I had some success, but also some things that I really wanted to work on going into my senior year. After that season, I had a workout with the Cincinnati Reds before the draft. It was more so of a just like a for me, it was just kind of like a learning experience or just something that I was grateful to just go to. Wasn't really looking like expecting anything from it, I guess. It was more so just like I was grateful to go and experience that and give me motivation going into my senior year. And then,
Right.
so then my senior year, the season starts, and I'm really just working on like cutting down the strikeouts so I can get an opportunity to play professional baseball after the year. We opened up at Troy University, and I hit two home runs in one game. And after the second home run, I get in the dugout and tear my ACL, like right then and there. And it was really devastating. It was really hard because I just didn't know what was going to happen next. I didn't know if professional baseball was still in the conversation. I didn't know much about how medical red shirts worked. I just really didn't know, and I was kind of at a loss and really just frustrated and down. But I feel like that feeling didn't last too long. Like after I kind of just like got over it, like understood like everything happens for a reason, and God has a funny way of showing you that He's God. Like I accepted it, I embraced it, I took it head on, got surgery, and I just wanted to be a good teammate, for my teammates, showing up every day and supporting them and making sure that our team had as much success as they could have. And so yeah, and then this year, coming back this year, like I feel like the ACL, like I would have never changed it. Like I would have, if it happened a million times over, it would have happened the same way. So there's nothing I could have done to change it. But even if I could have, I would have kept it this way because I feel like it taught me so much, like mentally, to be like appreciative and grateful. Even though like I show up to practice every day and just work as hard as I can and do the best that I can to be the best version of myself. There are times where it's like I might be tired or sore and just like take things for granted and not realize it. And so I feel like the ACL taught me that. Like I tore my ACL and I had to sit there and watch a whole baseball season and not be able to participate even when I wanted to. And so with that, I was extremely grateful and like appreciative to be able to play again. And so this season, like I feel like my mind is so clear just being able to show up and play baseball, carefree. And so I feel like that's going to give me a lot of success for the rest of the
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, absolutely. And just hearing you talk, you can hear that it sounds like you're more driven somehow than ever. If that's even
Yeah,
a possibility, to make it to D1, you have to be driven. To overcome injury and then have the success that you're having already to start the year. I mean, that's like taking it to a whole nother level. And it's just awesome to see, athletes rise above, things that they didn't even think that it was possible to rise above, and so congrats to you,
thank
obviously, the success you're having so far, and I feel like it's just gonna keep going, man. It,
thank you.
it's it, it's gonna continue for you. So I'm rooting for you, praying for you.
Thank you.
Last thing I wanted to say about, your playing style as well. I hear you're pretty darn fast around the base paths too.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that is
yeah.
that the rumor?
Yeah, a little bit. I ran a 6.460 before I tore my ACL. Now I'm probably around a 6.5 or so, but I ran a 6.460 yard dash, and a lot of that I got to give credit to my brother too. My brother, he like I said, he ran track and field at Illinois State, and just growing up, like I used to go to track camps with him and work out with him at the track or just speed programs and stuff. And so I feel like naturally, like I started to just get faster, pick up the right tendencies just by running track with him.
Man, I'll tell you, like it's next level stuff to see. I'm gonna bring up a Kansas City Royal now, but Bobby Witt Jr. I mean,
Yeah,
you look at him sprint around that guy flies. And
yeah, he does.
and seeing guys fly like that around the base pass like yourself is insane to me. I mean, having the wherewithal to even touch the bag and still make it around, that's just awesome and crazy and awesome in every single way. So
Yeah.
keep it up, obviously.
Thank you.
So, getting into that, obviously you're an outfielder, right?
Yeah.
So there's probably some outfield stories you've got for us, some craziness, some best plays. What do you got?
Yeah. Well, we played at Dallas Baptist University last weekend, and uh I had a play. There's a ball hit down the line towards their bullpen or towards our bullpen, and I'm running down that way, and I like caught it and like flipped over the side of the bullpen. So that was a pretty cool play. I mean, I've had a bunch of diving or sliding catches in the outfield at some point. I can't necessarily think of one specifically, but I know there's been quite a few. I would probably say the most recent one I could remember, the coolest play, I guess, would be I played in the Great Lakes Collegiate Summer League um, my sophomore summer, and it was in the All-Star game, and I was running back and like kind of I made like a diving catch backwards, like on the warning track. It was kind of cool. But I think that's the last one I could like really remember.
Wow. So it sounds like you're kind of I mean, obviously with that speed that you have on the base pass, you've got some speed in the outfield too. So,
Yeah.
you know, it sounds like athleticism in the outfield is your biggest strong suit. And also, diving catches, Superman, everybody always talks about Superman catches. I'm a Tigers fan, so I see Riley Green do it. And,
Hmm.
I imagine that's kind of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah.
One question I did have. So, do you ever play on different types of, I guess terrain to say the least? Like, have you played on like a turf surface or is it
Oh
always
yeah.
grass type stuff? Like, does that make a big difference?
Yeah, it's baseball's a lot of turf now. I feel like almost everywhere is turf unless you're playing a down south school somewhere. Um, pretty much everywhere is turf. We have turf here at SIUE, and um, I feel like for the most part, it's all kind of the same. Dallas Baptist turf was a little different. I would say like the ball just kind of cut and moved a little bit more in the outfield, but other than that, like yeah, everywhere's turf. I would say nothing beats like a perfect grass outfield though. Like a major league stadium like those, like nothing, I don't think turf can beat that. But like turf definitely beats some of the other like, less maintenance dirt fields.
Yeah, no, I can definitely feel that. Like I said, I didn't play baseball in high school, but I played football on grass, and
Yeah.
I've heard so many. The reason I brought that up is I've heard so many athletes talk about the difference between turf and grass, and
Hmm.
there's a big movement right now of trying to actually go back to a grass type because of
Yeah.
injuries, and so I didn't know if that was something that ever you noticed a difference wise, slipping, not slipping type of thing,
Yeah,
but.
dirt or grass outfields is a lot. You're a little more confident when you're diving out on grass outfields just because it's a little softer landing. But at the time, you don't think of it. But after you dive and you hit the ground and you get back up and the play's over, you feel it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
and you get all those nice black pellets along your arm, and it's
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
great. It's so much fun,
yeah,
obviously. But well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the insight. It's so cool to hear high level insight about playing styles versus different terrain, stuff like that. So uh, I want to talk now, going back in your past a little bit. So prior to SIUE,
yeah,
take us into Lake Michigan College.
yeah, yeah. LMC, I would say like LMC had such a big impact on me, like not only as a baseball player but as a person. Like Um, I was at a showcase at my travel organization, Diamonds in Grand Rapids, like a college showcase trying to, get high school guys recruited and stuff. And I was there and I didn't really know what I was gonna do, where I was gonna go. At this time I actually had more football scholarships than I did baseball. And I was like, dang, I might go play football and I don't even like football as much as I like baseball. And so um, Coach Wasserman was there, Zach Wasserman. Shout out to him. He was just such a great coach that I had, and he recruited me to Lake Michigan. He was there. He seen me and just seen my athleticism. I was pretty raw and needed a lot of work, I feel like at the time, but he took a chance on me and invited me down for a visit. And immediately as soon as I got there, like I knew I was going to play for him. Like he was just such a great coach, such a great person, um, and he was super invested in me. Um, as a person and a player. And so I committed there as soon as he'd let me. And went to go play for him. My first year went there. Had a lot of influences there that like relationships and friendships that I still keep to this day. Um, and yeah, and so I feel like that really exposed me to college baseball. And he was a really hard coach, like hard on his players, and wanted the best out of them, and he got it, 100%. And so he was the kind of coach you'd run through a brick wall for, you know what I mean? And at the
Yep.
time, I was, fresh out of high school, like I'm a high school football player, and so that's kind of the vibe that he gave, you know what I mean, as a high school football coach. And
That's
so,
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say the high school football coach, like you said. I mean, those are the guys that really, teach you,
mhm.
the easiest way to say it is teach you how to be an adult, teach you how to
Yeah,
be, a responsible, like it's just those influence in your life that really teach you a lot. And I
yeah,
go back, I played 1 year of high school football, and the impact that my coach had on me, in 1 year was something that changed my life forever. And
yeah,
so, hearing you talk about that, really tears at the old heartstrings for me because it's, it hits home, man. It hits home, man. A
yeah,
lot of athletes feel that way. So, obviously, last thing I wanted to talk about Lake Michigan, you hit 364 at Lake Michigan
yeah.
College. So can you see the ball that well? That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think so. My freshman year, I actually hit 390. Well, I only had three home runs, but I hit 390 my freshman year. And I don't know. I just kind of just I didn't really think much of it. I don't even think I looked at my stats until the season was over, just because I was just so bought in and just so kind of invested in like, well, I'm just here to play baseball. I don't really know what's going to come of it. And so I was just kind of new to it all. And so my freshman year, I hit 390 with three home runs, and then my sophomore year, I came out and I hit 364 with 10 home runs. But I didn't. My sophomore year was a little weird. Coach Wasserman actually took a coaching job at Xavier University at Christmas break, and so we got a interim head coach. once he left, and we only played conference games. And so it was really it was kind of a short season in a way,
Mhm.
and it was just very difficult. Guys were starting to commit places and stuff, and so it was just I feel like the vibe kind of wasn't the same my sophomore year. But yeah, I feel like I just kind of seen the ball well, and um, uh, I don't know. I feel like I was just being me and being an athlete and just being kind of carefree, and yeah. So
That's fantastic. Last question I wanted to ask you too. So hitting 364, you
yeah,
see a lot of different pitches.
yeah,
What
yeah,
was your favorite one that like your eyes lit up when you see it?
yeah. Nothing beats hitting a fastball, man. Fastball, middle in, like yeah, nothing beats that. You don't want to hit
That's
anything else.
yeah, I was gonna say, and do you obviously, you know, I'm guessing you don't want to see the high heat, but I'm guessing like an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, middle in, like
Yeah,
that's probably like the best pitch you could ever
yeah,
see
yeah.
type
That's what
of
we're
thing.
looking
But
for.
that's fantastic. That's awesome. So, um, you know, I wanted to ask then, about your high school career because you've already talked about a little bit with diamonds and
Mhm.
you having football offers, which is just
Yeah.
awesome. Being a dual athlete like that is so hard, for a lot of kids. But take us into a little bit about what that was like, high school balancing baseball and football and your career overall.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't say I didn't have a great, I didn't have like the most amazing high school baseball career that anybody could think of. And, Wyoming High School is not a baseball school. We're just not, Wyoming High School is really big on basketball and soccer and other things. And we were really good at those sports. And we had a lot of great athletes who played football. The baseball just really wasn't our thing. And so I would say like my freshman year, I played a little bit of varsity, a lot of JVs, and I think there was a week where I played freshman, JV, and varsity all in the same week. Like, yeah, I was just all over the place, just bouncing around. Whatever
Wow.
games I could play in, I was playing in, And so then my sophomore year, I was on varsity for the whole year, um, and played, and it was fine. It was, whatever. I just feel like I was really not. I was maybe 140 pounds. I was just small, little guy. I was 5'10" maybe. You know what I mean? And so just not really the size I should be competing with some of these other guys. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so for that reason, I just wasn't that. Um, I was just really undersized. I feel like my freshman, sophomore year. Junior year, I kind of started to figure it out a little bit, played a little bit better, whatnot. And then senior year, obviously, it got canceled because of COVID. So I didn't get a senior
Wow.
year of baseball. But on the football side of things, like I'd say I was just good at football because I was an athlete. You know what I mean? Like I was just athletic. My freshman, sophomore year, playing freshman JV, whatever. I was a quarterback my freshman year, and then even my sophomore year a little bit, but then moved to like defensive back. And then I started at corner on varsity my junior year of football, and I led the conference in interceptions. And then I started getting football attention. I didn't even like football. I never like. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't like it. I did like it, but I wasn't in love with it like I was baseball. And I just I never went to extra workouts or anything like that until it was football season because I was just playing baseball year round. And yeah, I just started to get some attention. Taylor University, NAIA school. I had a scholarship from them, and I had a game day visit at Davenport University, and just a couple other small schools that gave me some football money, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And our football coach at Wyoming, he did a great job of just kind of like bringing coaches in and getting guys opportunities and stuff. And so shout out to him. And so he really did a good job of that. And yeah, I don't know. My junior year, I just had a great football season, and so I thought I was gonna go play college football instead of baseball. And so
That's wild. Like to have like to I mean, I'm speechless. I mean, truthfully, like you had a career in football that was pretty darn amazing and then you had a career in baseball that you're now a Division 1 baseball player. I mean, you could have done either and probably been successful at both, which is just a testament to who you are, I think. Your athleticism, your makeup, your mental ability, I mean, just everything overall, which is again, kudos to you, man. That's awesome. And there's a lot of kids, like I said, me, I wasn't, I was 145 pounds when I graduated high school. So not the biggest cat in the world. So to hear a guy that has that kind of success, it's just amazing. Like, congrats to
thank
you,
you.
obviously. So last thing I wanted to talk about with, baseball career wise is, youth baseball. So, take us into a little bit of, did you have any, inspirations for youth, when you were in youth or, anybody that really helped you out? Um, really what would you tell a younger version of yourself?
Yeah, I would just tell a younger version of myself just to really just to be patient. You know what I mean? Because like you're always so focused on what's next, what's next, what's next. Well, like you can't get to what's next until you're completing what's now. You know what I mean? Where you're at right now. Just be where your feet are. Like and just be patient. You know what I mean? Because you play the game because you love it, not because you want something from it. You know what I mean? And so I feel like it's hard to remember those things when you're so bought into what you're doing, like, and you just you want to see the fruit of your labor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the younger me, I would just say, just, like be patient and just like remember that you're playing the game because you love it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. You gotta love the game.
Yeah.
You can't half it, That's what I always tell. I'm a youth football coach myself, and I always tell kids like if you want it, you gotta be all in.
Yeah.
That's just you gotta be at every practice, giving everything you got every practice. It's a full buy-in. You see it younger and younger every year, I swear. So that's great info for, younger generations or even a younger version of yourself, which is just amazing. And one question I had about youth is, have you always played outfield for your baseball career?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So my dad played baseball. He played out of high school and a little bit with the Kansas City Royals organization for a little bit. And so then he was an outfielder, and so me and my brother both played baseball at the time before he started running track, and we were both outfielders. He was in center field, I was in right field, and it's kind of the way it's always been. And I told him I wanted to pitch one day, and he said absolutely not. And so I never really experienced any other position. I mean, I guess I played some infield in middle school and stuff, but like. For the most part, like once it got to like, like series baseball, like whether it was travel ball or high school baseball, whatever, like I was in center field.
Just
So
center fielder, just number one
yeah.
center fielder. Like I was gonna say, last thing about that too is, do you have a favorite position in the outfield?
Yeah, man. Like I'd say that if I had to describe myself, I'd say I'm a center fielder that plays the corners. Um I don't really ever play left field much. But I'm always ever since I got to college, even at Lake Michigan, I was playing right field. Um, but center field is, I think center field is every outfielder's favorite. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I'm starting to kind of have the same love for right field just because I've been there for so long. So
That's fantastic. I was gonna say center field, that's most of the time that's where you cover most grass, isn't it?
yeah,
Is center field. You get to cover all the grass, make like I said, Parker Meadows is my favorite center fielder right now
yeah,
because I mean, he makes all the crazy. I mean, the dude's a giant for one thing, which is just crazy. I mean, I think he's 6'5" or 6'6", and I mean, yeah, crazy plays out there in
yeah,
center field. But and that's one thing I wanted to lead into is future goals. What at the end of the day do you want your career to look like,
yeah.
on the field or off the field?
Yeah. Well, on the field, like without question, I just want to play at the highest level I can. You know what I mean? Like whatever that looks like, however that is, like I want to be able to say that I played at the highest level that I could have played at, and I had fun doing it. You know what I mean? Like so, obviously for me, I'd say like that is professional baseball. Um, I want to play. I want to play in the major leagues. I want to play. An MLB organization. Like I want to get drafted. I want to get signed. I want to play. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily for any financial gain or any um, status or anything like it's simply just because I love baseball. You know what I mean? I love playing the game and I just love being a part of it. I love what the game brings. And it's where I'm stress free. It's where I'm happy. I love the game. You know what I mean? And so when my career's over, I can just look back and say, hey, like I played, I had fun, and I did the best that I could,
That's fantastic. I was gonna say that's the dream right there is, play the kids. I think what do they always say? Play the kids game as long as you can.
Yeah.
That's baseball is a special thing, and I love it for that reason. It truly is a kid's game, but you get to play it for a long time if you keep up with it. So, I think you got a long career ahead of yourself, and
Thank
I
you.
think we'll be seeing you somewhere pretty soon. I got a
I
good
hope
feeling
so.
about that. So,
I hope
I'll
so.
be rooting for you. And last thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap up things is you know you said you're a Royals fan.
Yeah.
Uh, what is your favorite MLB inspiration, but current era.
Hmm. As a player,
Yeah, player. Yep.
if we're talking today, if we're talking today, I'd probably say Ronald Acuna Jr. He's my
Yeah.
favorite. You know,
Yeah.
he's an outfielder. I feel like I try to model my play style after him. We're both I relatively the same size human being and play the same position. And so he's, you know, one of the most talented players in the league. And so like obviously he's an inspiration. But if we're talking my lifetime, I'd probably say like from who I've watched, I'd probably say like a Lorenzo Cain or
Mm-hmm.
so of that
Mm-hmm.
2014, 15 Royals era for sure.
Oh, Lorenzo Cain, man. He
Yeah, I
was
had him.
he was a downright good player, man.
Yeah, we went to a game at Comerica when the Royals were playing the Tigers and I sat right above the dugout and he signed my glove. So
Really?
yeah.
Oh, dude, that is so awesome. Like I said, from a Tigers fan's perspective,
Yeah.
Lorenzo Cain gives me nightmares on the daily because it seems like, I always call them Tiger killers because there's
Hmm.
always these guys that would just when they would play the Tigers, they would just all of a sudden have the most success you've ever seen. Lorenzo
Yeah.
Cain was one of them. Salvador Perez, just
Mike Moustakas.
yeah, Mike Mustak. I mean, it seemed like just about everybody on the Royals would, when they played the Tigers, would just hit
Man.
for just, hit 500 against. It was just nuts. And so, Lorenzo Cain, obviously, love him as a player, hated who he played for at the time. Now we're
Hmm.
cool. We're
Yeah,
chill.
yeah, yeah.
It's good. But obviously, that's so awesome. And baseball's a special thing, man. You just never know, you getting Lorenzo Cain's autograph on a glove is amazing. Personal story I thought I'd share myself to you
Yeah.
is I actually met Tarek Skubal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he back in 2021 or 22, he was doing his rehab assignment at West Michigan,
And the
and
Whitecaps?
yeah, with the Whitecaps.
Okay.
And thankfully my girlfriend, love her to death. I wanted to leave early. I'm like, we'll just get out of here early. It's the ninth inning. We'll leave a little early and just beat the traffic. She says, no, I've never been to a baseball game. I want to stay longer.
Okay.
All right, fine. So, anyways, the game ends. We're the like one of the last people out of the stands, and I see a guy wearing Tigers gear
Hmm.
on the concourse, but it's workout gear and he has a headband on. I'm like, man, that looks like Tarek Skubal. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way, right? Like there's a guy with it looked like an agent with him. And so I stand there, and next thing you know, he comes up to me and he says, hey, would you like a picture? And next thing you know, I got a picture with Tarek Skubal, and
That's cool.
I said to him, thank you so much for everything you've done for the Tigers so far, man. And it's just crazy to think you never know.
Yeah,
Two
that's really
years
cool.
later, 2 years later, he won the Triple Crown. So
That's
it's just amazing. Baseball. That's why I think baseball is my favorite, at least for the most part of terms of watching. Love the game.
yeah,
So, but
very
I
cool.
think Kyle, you're gonna have something even better than that happen in the next few years. I really do.
I hope
So
so.
maybe one day I can get you to sign a ball for me, you know.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, it's been such a blast to talk to you about, the great game. And I think you've got such a wonderful career ahead for yourself. And, I hope we get to keep in touch and
Yeah.
talk a little bit. Hopefully I can have you back on and we
Yeah,
can
man. Thanks
go
for having me.
over, what's next for you. So
Yeah, that was fun.
uh yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. So guys, make sure you follow Kyle. I'll put his social media links on the screen, and follow him in the link down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Fourth Quarter Finish podcast. Please like and subscribe. To support the athletes that are featured, check out their personal links down below. Fourth Quarter Finish, hard-hitting takes.